Have in mind, when we came in, there was a young CEO, what I call Wesley. He left because of the frustrations and limitations that he saw in this county. Secondly, we saw CEO Rosemary, who was in charge of finance, a very brilliant young lady who wanted to serve the county very well and to move, in terms of resources. We've talked on all these revenue streams that we must, automate, and maybe we do CCTV in some streets in this town. But because of the interest of one person, because of the interest that is not, he doesn't want to progress the county, we must say today, he must resign or he must leave, with immediate effect. Honorable Speaker, I understand, there's a lot of movement in those offices because some staff are being moved left and right. Those are the kind of frustrations we would not like to see. Honorable Speaker, I was the chair, Cousin Tane. Have in mind, when we formed the ad hoc committee on Cousin Tane, I was the chair, and we made some observations, about 21 of them. We made some recommendations, about 24 of them. Today, no implementation, to show that he doesn't respect this honorable house. So I want to support my colleagues and to congratulate these colored soldiers who stood firm and say, we must protect our county to progress. We must protect our resources. When we talk of Kabianga Tifan, Honorable Speaker, I was the chair of finance way back in 2007 when I was a councillor. And the profits from Kabianga Tifan, my colleagues, we used to pay bursaries for our children. Today, as we sit here, we get nothing from Kabianga Tifan. To show the man who is in the lead is not giving us one. And we must say he must be in.
It came to my mind that, Mr. Speaker, when the history of this county will be written, Mr. Speaker, I must be among in the chapter, Mr. Speaker. And like to use this platform, Mr. Speaker, to tell the honorable members, Mr. Speaker, who are present in this honorable house today, Mr. Speaker, that this is a defining moment, honorable Speaker, where it defines politicians and leaders, Mr. Speaker. The honorable members who are in this house, Mr. Speaker, are leaders, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, leaders are those people, Mr. Speaker, who do what is right and not what is popular. We are doing the right thing, Mr. Speaker, by saving the Kericho County, Mr. Speaker. Some of the allegations which has been enumerated in that motion, Mr. Speaker, I support 100%, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is a line to the members of the public, Mr. Speaker, on the issue to do with revenue, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish time will allow, Mr. Speaker, so that we dissect, so that the honorable members and the members of the public and members of the vote state can realize, Mr. Speaker, the lie which has been being told about revenue, Mr. Speaker. That in the last financial year, Mr. Speaker, we collected 804, Mr. Speaker. The actual money which was collected, Mr. Speaker, is 359, Mr. Speaker. Another which was collected for the hospital, Mr. Speaker, is 185, Mr. Speaker. The additional, the other FIF is called Facility Improvement Fund. That is not a revenue, Mr. Speaker, because those are NHI rebates and those are monies which cannot be used for development, Mr. Speaker. So the true position of what we collected, Mr. Speaker, is only 359. And Mr. Speaker, let me inform the Honorable House, Mr. Speaker. Out of the 359 million which was collected, Mr. Speaker, were it not for the multinational who gave us a check of 105 million for land, Mr. Speaker, we will have collected nearly 100 something, Mr. Speaker. So this county, Mr. Speaker, is in talks, Mr. Speaker, because they have disregarded the laws and the regulations which we have passed in this house, Mr. Speaker. The valuation role is capable of collecting 1.2 million to this county, Mr. Speaker. But what is happening? Mr. Speaker, they have disregarded the valuation role. And Mr. Speaker, some of the witnesses which we called because we were in the revenue committee, Mr. Speaker, there is one lady, Mr. Speaker, who is almost exiting service. I don't want to name her specifically, Mr. Speaker, but he confessed in this honorable house, Mr. Speaker, that, Mr. Speaker, she has served and she has only 2 years to exit service. But what she has seen in the last 2 years under this administration, Mr. Speaker, she was pissed off, Mr. Speaker, because she said whatever we collected and recorded in the ground, Mr. Speaker, is different from what has been recorded here, Mr. Speaker. That shows, Mr. Speaker, how this county has gone to dogs, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for us to save this county, Mr. Speaker, we have to raise up with rise to occasion, Mr. Speaker, and ensure this motion passes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm an engineer by profession, Mr. Speaker, and I'm a mathematician, Mr. Speaker. And the mathematics, and there is one thing which has been a very difficult maths to be handled by all mathematicians, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you give a single person here to count 1 billion shilling, he will count it in a simple manner, Mr. Speaker. But when you give a single person to count 100 votes, he cannot, Mr. Speaker. This is the same as now as being in this quagmire. Because, Mr. Speaker, we are even unable to do for class 4 mathematics to define what is a third, what is 2/3, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I have a high regard to the Deputy Speaker of this House, Mr. Speaker. Because every now and then when he sits there, Mr. Speaker, he normally used to say, Mr. Speaker, we need to have 16 members to form a third, which forms the quorum of this House, Mr. Speaker. If 16 members forms a third, Mr. Speaker, what makes what is 2/3 now? It's simple mathematics. You doesn't need a calculator, Mr. Speaker. You just say for the 7 you less 16, you get 31. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, we are dealing with human beings. We are not dealing with ceilings and cents, Mr. Speaker. Even if we go to the fashion way, let's say a third, 1/3 of 7, it is 15.66. So because it is beyond 5, we round out to the nearest digit, that form 16. That is why we have our product as 16, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 2/3 of 47 makes 31.33, Mr. Speaker. We don't have 0.33 of a person, so we round up to the nearest decimal point, Mr. Speaker. That forms 1. Simple mathematics, people are still in class 4, which doesn't need even interpretation. Mr. Speaker, as I finalize, Mr. Speaker, I know you are more informed than us, Mr. Speaker, and I know we have several case laws. We have several incidents whereby most of the assemblies and most of the has been found themselves in this quagmire, and there has been a ruling. So, Mr. Speaker, you guide the honorable house and inform those honorable members that, Mr. Speaker, this is a game of wits.
Thank you.
Thank you. I support the motion.
Last week, we hand over to you. I thank you, Honorable Speaker Sam, for giving me this opportunity so that I may also support this very important motion.
Yes.
I want to congratulate and applaud the 21 honorable members. 31. I'm sorry. 31 honorable members who chose to take a very hard decision. Honorable members, honorable speaker, sir, a good leader shows the way and walks the way. And it comes a time when a good leader has to make hard decisions. It is at this particular time where we are required to make hard decisions. I want to congratulate you for taking those hard decisions to end status quo in Kericho. It is common sense that Kericho County is among 47 counties in Kenya. But it is among those ones that are endowed with a lot of resources. It is very unfortunate. It is shameful for counties like Homa Bay, Wajir, Turkana, collecting over 1.something billion in terms of their own source of revenue. Kericho is doing at 300 200. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Honorable Speaker, sir, I was a teacher for a long time. And when a school performs poorly, the head teacher takes the responsibility. When an institution performs poorly, it is the head teacher that takes the responsibility. Kericho County is performing poorly. The person who is supposed to take responsibility is the governor, Dr. Erick Mutai. Honorable Speaker, sir, for instance, in Kericho, we have 30 acres of coffee. Before the inception of the whole unit, it was under the Kericho Town Council. We used to collect 5 million and above. As we are speaking now, we are not even getting 1 million in that coffee farm. If you think on mathematics, 1 acre has 30 bushes. 1,000. 30 times 1,000 is 30,000. Averagely, you can be able to get 5 kilos. Let us say 5. But 30,000 times 5. 150 kilos. 150,000 kilos. Multiplied by even 100 shillings per kilo. 15 million. We should be getting 15 million in coffee farm in Kenya. But as we are speaking now, we are getting 1 million. That is shameful. So we want to say, Honorable Speaker, sir, without mixing our words, Governor Mutai has to take responsibility. So I stand on behalf of the people of Kenya that Governor Mutai should carry his own cross. And I want to make this one clear, Honorable Speaker, sign loudly. We want our people back there at home, to understand that when we don't collect the revenue, meaning that we will not be able to carry out programs and projects back there in our words. For us to be able to carry out projects and programs, we must make sure that we correct this problem of revenue collections once and for all. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
For the moment, before I go upon the mover to the plan, order the members. Before I go upon the mover to the motion to the plan, that is the motion that we got this job on, standing on number 17, provide that number speaker is satisfied that the motion has been completed, of which I am satisfied. The speaker shall call upon the person who is being removed from office to answer issues raised in the debate, and thereafter call upon the mover of the motion to reply. Honorable members, as you are also aware that His Excellency the Governor, Dr. Erick, Mutai, sent these two councils, which on the record, honorable members, they forego the opportunity to fully defend citing a court order, which I must state here and let it be on record that as a speaker, the court order is a matter for me, and I did not say it. And therefore, since I am not here to represent the club anymore, I now call upon the member from the motion, Honorable Kericho, to make this reply for a period, not exceeding 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the members who contributed to this motion. Mr. Speaker, it's been overwhelming. Had it not been for time, each and every member present here today would have contributed to the motion. Mr. Speaker, members have deliberated on the issue extensively. Mr. Speaker, standing order number 74, 4, Mr. Speaker, states that upon the expiry of the 7-day notice, Mr. Speaker, this motion was properly before the House. The Governor had an opportunity, pursuant to Article 50 of the Constitution, to defend himself here today. Because, Mr. Speaker, he disguised the whole thing using a court process. And I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, because the members here have stated you cannot injunct a process that has already started. In fact, Mr. Speaker, a member reminded me of an operation, a patient on an operation table, that if, say, the stomach has been opened and a bottle that comes, does that imply that the doctor will leave the patient on the table to die or continue with the operation? Mr. Speaker, this House, having started the motion on the impeachment of the Governor, could not be stopped by any court of law. And by any chance, Mr. Speaker, we gave a notice 7 days ago. The Governor had an opportunity to use every other means if he wanted to be heard. Mr. Speaker, the Governor is as guilty as charged. Mr. Speaker, I want to point out two issues. One, even the court order that was obtained by Joseph Kogo, Josiah Kogo. You know, Josiah proved before court that the land belonged to him. The Governor disregarded the order and continues to use the land belonging to somebody else as a dump site. In fact, by the court itself, ruling on the matter proves that the Governor violated Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the case of Alice Bett being nominated to replace Gideon Mutai as a county attorney. Mr. Speaker, again, the courts, in fact, adjudged the Governor. And that means the Governor is guilty and he ought not to be holding office as we speak. Mr. Speaker, how do you go to court to obtain an order to stop this House, stating rightfully that you violated Chapter 6 of the Constitution? Mr. Speaker, this Governor
after this, and I want to beseech the members, when the voting comes, let us vote to impeach this governor. He has no place in this county. Mr. Speaker, I want to give you 3 issues. Number 1, Article 1 of the Constitution, the sovereign power of it belongs to the people of Kenya. And the same power is exercised both ways. 1, directly by the people, or indirectly by the people elected to represent those people. Mr. Speaker, we sat as a house, given the mandate by the people, to ensure their issues are heard and determined. Mr. Speaker, any member who absconded this session today should be, called to order. Such individuals, wherever they are coming from, ought not to be holding those offices. Because 1, they had an opportunity to argue their case before this house. But unfortunately, they stayed away. Mr. Speaker, Article 2 of the Constitution, the supremacy of this Constitution, it binds everyone, all the state officers and state organs. Mr. Speaker, the governor is bound by the same Constitution. Unfortunately, he is gone an extra mile and disobeyed the same Constitution. Mr. Speaker, this governor should, stands impeached. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, Article 3 of the Constitution, the defense of this Constitution. We have that opportunity to defend the Constitution. That is the guiding principle in this country, Mr. Speaker. Now, where we have a governor who's violated every single article of the Constitution, he shouldn't be allowed to continue governing this country. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, in Kapela, that ward, my neighboring ward, there is a nurse who retired. The facility was closed for 3 months because there is no staff hired because of lack of revenues. Mr. Speaker, the people had to demonstrate for the Department of Health to go and pick one of the nurses in one of the facilities. Mr. Speaker, my ward, we have a sub-county hospital called Sigawe. I went there one night, and there is a nurse who covered both the outpatient department and the inpatient. That is the wards. Mr. Speaker, these staffs are overwhelmed. Go to district hospital here. People complain for lack of service delivery because we do not have the personnel. And the personnel is hired by the county if we had revenues. This governor, Mr. Speaker, ensured that all the money is meant for this county is stolen, for us not to get the service that people ought to get. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, I have a facility in my ward called Coensive Dispensary. I know a facility in Soliat ward which is ready for commissioning, but there is no staff. In the Boy ward, we have the same facilities, but without the staff. Anytime we go to to those places, people keep on asking, why has the facility not been opened? And our answer is because we do not have staff. Raya do not understand who is supposed to get them that staff to run the facility. Mr. Speaker, this governor failed this county. This governor, when he came on board, he majored on non-issues and minored on serious issues. Mr. Speaker, I want to implore this House for us to have this county back on track, for us to have the ECD teachers hired, this governor must go. For us to have our facilities, having the requisite number of personnel to run those facilities, this governor has to go. For us to have the instructors in all our various VTCs, getting that proper remuneration, Dr. Mutai has to go. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity, and I implore the members, when the voting time comes, let us vote to impeach Dr. Mutai. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Much for the special motion. And honorable members, pass one now to the provisions of Standing Order number 64-2. I shall arise to put a question, which is the Assembly resolves to impeach the government Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act, and Standing Order number 74, Kericho Complex Sample Standing Orders. All the grounds as moved in the special motion by Honorable Kiprotich Rogon, citing A, gross violation of the Constitution and other laws, B, abuse of office, and 3, gross misconduct as tabled before this House. Would as many as I or not similar people say aye? Aye. When I said the contrary opinion, say nay. And the ayes have it. Honorable members. Honorable members, this, as you are all aware, and I wanted to make some movement. Honorable members of this House, this morning we received a list of the members that resolved that they shall not participate or will not attend this morning session. But I really want to put it in probably if one of them or so we have a right. I would like to know, and before then, I would just like to highlight that pursuant to Standing Order number 83, the voting will be done through roll call voting, where the members will be called in alphabetical order, and when so called, a member will declare from when he or she says that either I vote aye, that is yes, or I vote nay, that is no, or I abstain. This is the only way we shall ascertain whether the threshold for impeachment in terms of numbers are required by Standing Order and County Government Act is met. As the division bell is being run by 7 accounts, I will request the members of the ayes and the nay side to nominate a teller and forward their names to the clerk at the table. And I now therefore, before them, I request also that since we have the 16 members who are here, I have to list here for the members. 16 members who have appended their signatures against the impeachment, and I have 31 members who have also appended their signatures in support of this impeachment of Dr. Erick. And I therefore give you the next side so that I can get to see clearly as we vote. To take your side. And then, as the nominate the teller for the ayes side, who is the nominee for the Erick? Clerk is not that. And secondly, is the nay side. We have one I have seen in my left should be the nay side. And there's 9. Okay. On my right, sorry. On my right. Sorry, on my right is the nay side, and on the left is the aye side. I now order and therefore call upon the Sergeant Accounts to ring the division bell for a period not exceeding 10 minutes. The bell must be run. Those are procedures. The bell must be run for a period not exceeding 10 minutes. Honorable members, let me inform you that when the bell is being run, they lock the door, and we shall draw the bar after the completion period not exceeding 10 minutes. And then at that period or at this period, honorable members, you are not allowed to go outside or leave the chambers until when we finalize. Honorable members, I think since I have read in my communication as we wait for the bell to, because it's procedural that the bell must be run for the emergency attendance, I think that we take this opportunity, since I have read the names for those who have will not attend or participate, allow us to go through the names of those who also attend the same church. Their citizens in support of the motion for the removal of Governor of Mutai, PhD by impeachment. Number one, Honorable Philip Kericho with the leader of majority. Yes. 2, Honorable Harold Kericho with the majority chief whip. Yes. Number 3, Honorable Facho Siko with the deputy majority leader. Yes. Number 4, Honorable Philip Kericho who is the MCA for Kericho. Yes. Number 5 is the Honorable Amos State Lead from Kapkate. Number 6 is Honorable Kericho who is the member of the motion. Number 7, Honorable Erick Langat. Number 8, Honorable Hazel Kipngana from Chinchilla. Number 9, Honorable Kimoy Peter from Kasusa. Number 10, Honorable Ruto from Kikenya. Number 11, Honorable Kenny Wilson from Londiani. Number 12, Honorable Erick B. That is from yes. And then number 13, Honorable Impeached from Mainamui. Yes. Number 14, Honorable Chester Jamera from Bureti. Yes. Number 15, Honorable Victor Paul B. from Kapsaus. Yes. Number 16, Honorable Secretary Cecil Mark from Mainamui. Yes. Number 17, Honorable Francis Taylor from Jebolino. Yes. And number 18, the Honorable Derek Maritin from Jepseon. 19, the Honorable Gladys Seabird from Shirley. Number 2 is the Honorable Richard Nanak, that is from Kedawa Kumumu. And we have number 21, the Honorable Julia Siet from Almari. Number 22, the Honorable Cabinet Jewolman from Jepseon. Number 23, the Honorable Moses Roti from the Dino Sorget. Number 24, the Honorable Blessing United Square from Chinchilla. And number 25 is the Honorable Gilbert Gatich from Kisgar. And number 26 is the Honorable Dora Keino from Chipsol. Number 27 is the Honorable Massive Ikono from and that was okay. And number 28 is the Honorable Edina Kanu from Waldai. And 29 is the Honorable Monica Chelaka from House. And number 30 is the Honorable Albert College, that is from Soviet to Sokonda. And number 31 is the Honorable Richelieu. That is from the Honorable Ward. This was prepared by the clerk, was one to Kericho County Assembly Standing Order number 74-1, and before the clerk, signed by the clerk, 2nd October 2024, marking the whose clerk Patrick Clark to the Kericho County Assembly. I don't know whether 10 minutes is over? Yeah. 10 minutes over, clerk. The opposite side, luckily having one from the opposite side. Well, right, honorable members, then we proceed. I want to believe you have already closed the door and locked the door. You close the bar and lock the door. You close the bar and lock the door. Confirm? So the members, we have received the name of Honorable Erick, that is the MCA for Kericho, the one who has been nominated by this side, representing the ICE side. Unfortunately, I haven't received any name from this side. And therefore, I ask the Honorable Erick to come forward and take your seat at the side of the dispatch table, which should be on my left or my left. Is that right? Okay, because ordinarily the right side should be on the other side. Honorable members, we shall now commence our voting, and our clerk shall take the votes. Clerk will take the roll call and confirm the results before tell us.
That Gladys Jasam.
B. Erick.
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
B. Ibo.
I vote yes.
Yes. I vote yes. Again, Evelyn. Yalamat Mo.
I strongly vote yes.
Jempuru Edina Kanui.
I vote yes.
Sobiano Gabriela. Emoy Beatrice.
I strongly vote yes.
Gabriela Jessa.
I vote yes.
Jempuru Babina. Jeriat Martin Iblahat. Chirchir Paul Ideagon. Isaac Matkey. Gonyo Masi Njeri.
I vote yes.
Keino Ngedich Dora.
I vote yes.
Kemoy Peter Ibet. %, I vote yes. Poet Albert.
I vote yes.
Ipiano Hezro.
I vote yes.
Ipiano Kiroi. Kiroi Vincent Ipiano. Kiroi Vincent Ipiano. Colonel Francis Jokoro.
On behalf of the good women of Kericho County, I vote yes.
Colonel Vincent Iporoi.
On behalf of the people of Rondiani, I vote yes.
Ibrotich Rogon.
On behalf of the great people of Zigawe, I vote yes.
Colonel Matthew Iporoi. Osgay Ingetich Vincent.
On behalf of Kericho County Youth, I vote. I plead yes.
Osgay Simon. Langat Jepoet Winnie. Langat Irene Quebec.
I vote yes.
Langat Richard Cheriot.
On behalf of the people, the great people of Kericho, I vote yes.
Martin David Kipkoro.
Seriously, yes.
Mutai Anita Cherono.
You say vote is not serious here. So you repeat again.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. 100% yes. I vote yes, 100%.
Are you affected by the 1 minute proceed?
Mutai Anita Cherono. Mutai Dominic Kipkoro. Mutai Philip Pimieno.
On behalf of the great people of the children, I honestly vote yes.
Ndetich Gilbert Ifro.
I vote yes.
Opile Noela Omolo. Rono Philip.
On behalf of the people of Kamasha, I vote yes.
Rotich Moses Cheriot.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. See.
Rotich Aaron Ikemoy.
Yeah.
Rotich Aaron Ikemoy.
On behalf of good people of Seretut, the fellow dear ward, I vote big yes.
Now, Rotich Moses Cheriot.
On behalf of the good people of Seretut, I vote yes.
Rob Naman Kipsgay. Ruto Anton.
I vote yes.
Siele Julius Kipkoret.
I vote yes.
Selma Lily Chepkemoi.
On behalf of the Kericho women, especially matters, I vote yes.
Terence Francis Diplomat.
I vote yes.
Black, you can confirm the results with the teller that we have. That is the Erick. You can proceed in front of the table. Clerks. That's black. Now the members from order, from our records, honorable members, submitted to me by the club, confirmed by the teller, the Honorable Erick B, that the total votes of 31 has been confirmed. For the ayes side, the right honorable members, if none are voted, I still present this opportunity to the one who is probably not seen. is none. So there being none, honorable members, it now appears to me that all members who are present and who wish to vote have done so. I now direct the clerk again to read out the results. Please, our standing orders. Clerk, please, of the results of the we confirm the excluding president. Proceed.
One voted yes. That is for the motion. These two are not present.
Members, now, before I declare the result, I want to address the question that has been raised by the legal counsel to the government, as well as also the honorable members who have contributed to the floor of the House. Honorable members, this being a question that has a threshold of a resolution of 2/3 of the members to pass, and considering the 2/3 of the members of this House is 31.33, that is 31.33, I have deliberately struggled to understand the implications of the decimal points. 33, knowing very well no human being is to be treated incomplete. I have allowed myself to be guided by the decision of Honorable Justice Malani in the case of Michael Justin Kaduna versus County Assembly of Tana River and 4 others. That was Constitutional Petition 006 of 2021, which was filed in 2022, KEELRC 1605, KLR dated 29 July of 2022, in which the Honorable Judge, when confronted with a similar question in a similar scenario, held as follows. In effect, the ad hoc Senate Committee, I'll quote, in effect, the ad hoc Senate Committee must comprise of at least a third of the total membership of the first respondent for it to be compliant with the first respondent's resolution. The parties are unanimous. The first respondent had, at the time of the matters, giving rise to the course of action in this case, a total of 23 members of the County Assembly. It is also common ground that mathematically, a third of this membership is about 7.6. That is 7.6 persons. And as a matter of person cannot be fragmented into a fraction, the logical alternative will be to round off the decimal 6 to the nearest number. I still go. In terms of matters rounding off, the standard practice is that when there is need to round off, one rounds up to the nearest number. In this case, the nearest number to 7.6 is 8 and not 7. The threshold issue with regard to the County Assembly quorum was also determined by the Nairobi County Assembly through its communication dated 6 September 2017 from the clerk of the County Assembly while conducting an election of the Honorable Speaker, who further determined that the quorum of the County Assembly is 41, that is a third members out of 122 of the County Assembly. The 2/3 threshold then was determined to be 81, at least 2/3 for the Speaker to have been duly elected. Honorable members, based on the foregoing, I give the direction that the 2/3 of the membership of this House required to pass the motion for impeachment of His Excellency the Governor is 31 members. My position is further by the fact that we have customarily and by practice since the inception of county evolution taken 1/3 of the members of this Assembly House to be 16, meaning the balance of the members being 2/3 is equivalent to 31. Honorable members of this House, I have pronounced myself on that matter, and therefore declare that the motion seeking the removal of impeachment from office of the governor for Kericho County, Honorable Dr. Erick Mutai by impeachment has been supported by 2/3 of the members of the county assembly. I therefore declare that the motion is passed and the governor, Dr. Erick Mutai, stands impeached by the county assembly. What I want to remember, we have come to conclusion over our special motion with regards to the removal of office from of the governor for Kericho County, Honorable Mutai by impeachment, and therefore being there no other order of business, this House stands adjourned and leave this afternoon at 2:30 p.m.